Understanding the realistic path that it takes. So telling yourself that this is not a get rich quick. Please just tell yourself that, because it's not.
Welcome everyone back to the Words of Rizdom Podcast. Now you can see we are in somewhere very, very different to our usual set. We are in the FX Summit. Big shout out to Roy and the Chart Addicts team for hosting this event, and not only hosting the event, putting this nice ensemble together. And we are joined, first of all, on the first day, with the first guest, with Tori Trades.
Okay, let's go. I'm honored to be here.
No, it's my pleasure.
And I'm so glad that we went ahead and just got this first person, first day, first guest. I'll take it.
That's it. You just walked through the door. I was like, Tori, come here, please.
Yes,
please.
good call.
But I know we've been talking for a while, trying to get this locked in, and we actually have a proper studio booked in a few days, but why not? How excited are you for the FX Summit?
I am. So someone just told me, I told them that I was nervous, and they're like, listen, excitement and nervous are the same feelings, so we're going to go with I'm hella excited. I
like that. No, it's all about how you frame it, right?
Yeah.
And just tell us a bit about your journey so far, because I know you have you're obviously very active on the socials.
Yeah.
I know you tell your story quite a lot, but for those who don't know you out there, tell us a bit about yourself and sort of how you got into where you are now.
Absolutely. And something that I'm coming to realize with social media, and I forget this, so people that are just now finding me, I assume that they already know what I trade, how long I've been trading, how I got into it. So I actually have to do this a lot more often, so this is good practice.
Definitely.
But essentially, I've been trading for 8 years now.
Wow.
My uncle taught me how to trade, and I trade futures. I am making the transition to swing trading this year specifically. Okay. It's been a journey, because I've been day trading for most of that 8 years. So swing trading it's a different beast. Yeah. I'm working on it.
Why do you think you're making that transition? Is it just lifestyle, or?
To be honest, the people that I know, and my uncle had made that transition also, it almost shows, and I could be totally wrong here, but it feels like I'm leveling up. Yeah. I'm able to hold winners longer, whereas I'm sure that you can replicate that within the day, day trading, but swing trading just feels like I'm making it to the next level. So I'm holding trades for a week, 2 weeks. I'm holding my winners a lot longer. Yes, there's more risk involved, but the profits are higher. I just feel like it's in so many words, I feel like I'm leveling up. It's the next level of professionalism.
Yeah, no, definitely. And how have you handled that sort of day trading to the swing trading approach? Because it's so easy. I've done the opposite before, where I went from swing trading to scalping.
Okay.
So I found it hard to then close my trades earlier, for example.
Yes.
So what sort of battle have you had, if any, of having to hold the trades longer when you were used to closing them sooner?
Yeah. It's mentally exhausting. Exhausting. So whereas before, I'm in a trade for a few hours, and you get to check out and be done. Whereas my trade is being held for a week, 2 weeks, and then to see it go into profit, $5,000, and then a few days later to see it go back, and then to see it negative, and then to see it go back is exhausting. So I think one of the biggest hurdles that I'm having right now is allowing myself to not get exhausted for this long period of time. Because what I'll do is if I see those numbers, if I see that I'm up $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and then I see it go back to me, when I see it go back up to that that higher number again for the second time, now I'm exhausted by this point and I want to close it. Whereas if I had a fresh mindset, I'd be like, oh, this is no big deal. All right, let's let this thing ride. So I think allowing myself to not get too caught up in it and not get too emotionally exhausted.
Definitely, yeah. To do that, do you try and fill your time? Because obviously before you might have just watched the chart and close the trade in that time, but now, as you're saying, it's going up and down and you're holding for a week plus. So do you have to find more things to do to keep you busy?
A lot less chart time, a lot less. So my trading style, and I don't know if you know too much about it, but it might be different than most, but I don't trade any specific sessions. And then also, I'm new to the swing trading, so obviously that doesn't make sense to trade a session because you're a swing trader. Yeah. But I am trading when my alerts go off. So if trend lines get crossed or price gets to support and resistance, that's kind of the only reason I need to be looking at a chart is when price gets to one of those points. So less screen time. I'm spending a lot of time making social media now. Yeah. I'm in Nashville right now with family, so I'm spending tons of time with nieces, nephews, sisters, mom, so I've got plenty of things to fill the time with, for sure.
Definitely. No, that's good to hear. That's where a lot of people struggle,
I know. Well, and just having a hobby, I mean, you get obsessive, and it makes sense. There was a point in time where I was obsessed. I was obsessive. I'd spend way too much time looking at charts.
Yeah.
I'd exhaust myself. I'd revenge trade. I mean, everybody goes through it, but I think having that, like, separation is pretty important. And I think everyone knows that, but it's like, you got to actually do it.
Definitely. And why futures over, say, like Forex or any other sort of trading endeavor?
So I started with stocks. I was actually reminiscing on the plane ride here. I went through like super old stories, and I was trading like Chipotle at the time, and Netflix, and Amazon back when it was like way cheap. And I made the transition to futures only, and I'll be totally honest with you, it's not because I did my research, it's not because I was like, you know what, this makes more sense for my trading style.
Yeah.
My uncle did it, so I did too. Like I have a path. I have a very clear path of where I want to get to.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna follow that. So if my uncle made the transition, I was like, all right, let's do it. I'm making the transition with you.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And it makes sense as well. And obviously, how's it been having that guidance? You know, having someone, because a lot of people obviously feel alone and they don't know any other traders. So to have not only someone you know, but someone who's a family member.
Yeah.
And you know, does it successfully, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Right. So then having that proof of concept, how has that been helpful for you in your journey?
I am incredibly grateful. I know, because I know many people don't have that. Like so many people have to spend the years of like trial and error. Like I am very aware of like how good I have it to like have a mentor, and not only it be a mentor, but like a family member. Yeah. And it changes everything. I wouldn't be where I am. Like the hardships, having somebody to call. Oh, and so not only did I document my journey like via social media wise, but I have a journal that I go back through. Yeah. And also was reading through that, reminiscing. It's just fun to see like where I'm at now and just go back and read. But there's days where I'm like, I wrote down, I'm like, my uncle called me today. He knew what the market did and checked in on me to make sure I was okay. I wasn't. That was not a good day for me. Yeah. But the fact that he like reached out and was like, okay, so how's your trading doing? He was always encouraging. Like when I first started learning from him, he immediately said like, you're going to be one of the best. You're going to do better than I am. And like, how freaking cool to have somebody like that. So I understand that I'm privileged in that sense. I'm grateful for it, but it's a complete game changer. I wouldn't be where I am without a mentor.
Definitely. No, I love that. And, you know, in terms of like the documentation on social media, you know, you have a lot of content, you know, you've built a very big following as well. And, you know, what's it been like to do that, to go through that process? And did you start as you were getting that profitability, or did you start like documenting before that?
Oh yeah, way back when. So if people go back far enough, now most of it's in like probably my stories, so I get to look back at those in like the archive. But if you go back far enough, you can see I tried to make it as like a cycling influencer at one point. So I've been active on social media for a long time. I'm always into, you know, trying to find the next social media, whether it was TikTok or Be Real. I tried that too. And so like whatever it may be, I'm like, I'm into it. Let's try it. Yeah. But as far as documenting, I've always kind of been accustomed to it. So it was with cycling previously. But if you go back far enough, you can see like, okay, Tori's like got some charts. She's at a coffee shop trading. So like it was always there, but I had to make the decision to post more about trading. Yeah. But I got to say, there was a point in time, and I don't know if you were on social media at that time, but it was almost like it wasn't okay to talk about money. It was uncomfortable. Like people, I mean, either if you talked about money, you'd either get bashed for, you know, bragging, or, you know, they'd say that that's just not polite. Yeah. It was just a very weird thing. But then there was some point in time in social media where it just switched, and now everyone talks about money. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. So that was kind of the transition of me documenting more of my trading.
Fair enough. No, and obviously you've had quite a large impact, because that's the only way it works in terms of gathering a following, is that you provide value. Yeah. And how's it been for you, obviously seeing the sort of response that you get and the sort of comments that you get, and even like being somewhere like this? Because I remember you going to some of the Chart Addict events and meetups. What was it like then, like being here? And I remember you put up a tweet actually last night, I believe it was, you know, who do you want to take a picture with? And everyone was like, you. How does that feel then to be in that situation, in that position?
It's unreal. It's the coolest. I mean, I can't even say that it's not the coolest thing ever, because it's the coolest thing ever. Going to the workshops was like my very first introduction to it. Yeah. So like I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I went to the first one was in Atlanta, and like I walk in, actually there's a line going around the building, and I walk up to the line, I'm standing in the back, and like people are like, Tori, no, you get to the front. And I'm like, you guys know who I am? It was the coolest freaking thing ever. I don't know if I answered the question, but that essentially it was incredible. It's very cool.
And then I know are you doing a panel here, right?
So I'm going to be hosting. So I won't be speaking my own panel,
You'll be
but I
asking
will
the
be
question,
hosting,
yeah.
Anthony, Q, and Swaggy.
Oh, wow. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? I like that.
It's going to be very conversational. So I know I have a list of questions to abide by, but I like to break the rules a little bit. So like I'll probably just be making it very conversational, kind of winging it a little bit.
That's great to hear. And, we'll finish up with one last question,
Yeah.
which is, there's a lot of traders here. No doubt there are a lot of traders who are still on their journey. So regardless of whether it's futures, Forex, whatever style of trading that you do or whichever part of trading that you're in, what advice would you give to a trader out there? Let's say top 3 tips of what they can do to progress and move forward.
Yeah. I would say the first one is understanding the realistic path that it takes. So telling yourself that this is not a get rich quick. Please just tell yourself that, because it's not. Understand that it is very similar to like being a doctor, or like, to be honest, I kind of find a lot of similarities between like making it as an actor.
Okay.
Like
you
have to spend, there's times where you spend your entire life trying to make it as an actor, and then you don't make it until you're like 50. Like now obviously that's maybe a little extreme when it comes to trading, but just maybe having that mindset and understanding that this is going to take time and dedication. The second thing I would say is for the newbies, spend as much time simulating as you can in the beginning.
Yeah.
I had an incredible amount of discipline, so I spent an entire year, but I never went back.
Yeah.
So like I haven't simulated in so long. But if you can go ahead and get as much time with, seeing wins, seeing losses in the simulated markets at first, I think that's going to be a huge turning point for you.
Definitely.
And then what would the third thing be? Psychology. Being very self-aware. Like,
Yes.
it's you and yourself, so just be self-aware. If you immediately start feeling some kind of strange emotion, that's like my thing. Whether it's a winner or a loser, if I am feeling strange about a trade, if I like catch myself trying to micromanage whatever it is, I'm done. I'm cutting myself off. So just being very self-aware would be the third thing.
I love that. No, I love that. And I'm going to ask you one more, because I've struggled to get female traders on the podcast.
Okay.
There's not many of them, obviously, but even the ones who are, they're a bit reluctant sometimes.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, because I get a lot of requests, as you can imagine. So what's it like, obviously, to be a trader, who is a female, in this space that is dominated by males? But yet you, not only are you a trader who's a female, but you're very much a very high-level influencer as well.
Yeah.
So what's that like, obviously, that experience, any struggles that you've had in being a female in the trading space?
Yeah.
Or is there any positives also on the other side of that?
I would say it's incredibly intimidating. It is. And it is what it is. I had to like rip it off like a Band-Aid, like posting about trading on social media. Social media itself is tricky. Like some people will talk about, the way you look instead of what you're saying.
Yeah.
So that's tricky, for sure. And you work through it. I've gone through all the phases.
Yeah.
So like the initial ripping the Band-Aid off was tricky. Being vulnerable, getting past like the comments and just having the confidence. So now I've just got the confidence in myself. So I went through all of the phases where people were telling me I'm wrong and I'm not doing things right, or they don't listen to women who are giving advice about trading. I'm like, listen, we're going to get past that. And so it's just, I guess my advice for females getting into it is just, you got to have that confidence. Just don't listen to the noise. I think that's like my main thing.
Definitely. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
well, thank you for jumping on. We're going to have our proper episode in a few days' time. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely dive much deeper into the journey
Oh,
then.
yeah. Okay, cool.
But everyone, check out the links in the description for Tori Trades below. Check that out. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see who's next. Take care.